Hello. It has been over a year since I have posted a standard video, meaning a ton of you are probably super freaking mad at me that it's about Minecraft. But hang on, because first of all, I didn't know it was wrong. Just kidding. First of all, I have more standard videos on the way, a video ranking all of Ringo's songs and the Beatles coming soon, and a much bigger video ranking all of the Beach Boys albums coming eventually. I don't know when, because that video is taking forever. Second of all, this is a music channel and we are talking about music discs, so this is technically on theme for me, so yeah, cope. I'm just kidding. Well, unless you want to cope, in which case I'm not. Anyway, 20 discs from worst to best, let's just get right into it. And FYI, for these bottom 3 discs, they aren't really music, and I don't mean that in the sense that they are bad or anything like that. I mean that in the sense that they are literally sound collages, like the Revolution 9s of Minecraft, if you will. So let's just get those over with, starting with number 20, 13. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not 100% certain if this is the worst of the sound collages, because it's probably the closest one to, like, you know, being music with these weird ominous bells throughout the track. But I'm putting it at the bottom purely out of spite, honestly, because you just find this disc like everywhere, and it's not a good disc. The disc is found in dungeons, which is admittedly fitting because it's a creepy thing to find underground. I'll give you that, Minecraft, but it means you get a ton of them, okay? Which is especially annoying when you get a skeleton to shoot a creeper and then it drops this. So for that, I'm putting it at the bottom. Next, number 19, 11. So 11 is a broken disc. If fixed, it sounds like this. Wow, very nice. Unfortunately, that is not possible, so you never hear it. Instead, you get this, which for anyone who played Minecraft as a kid, you unfortunately know this and perhaps have a similar experience to what I had as a kid. I remember being in creative in 2011 or 2012 when I was around 9 years old. I built this massive maze-like house out of wooden planks, which is what I often did as a kid. I had never even touched survival at this point in my life. Anyway, it was winter at the time, it was late at night, and it was raining outside, and I was alone in the computer room in the dark by the window, and I had just discovered the jukebox and the music discs. I went to a corner of my house behind a sculpture of my head made of wool, I think, which, by the way, I eventually filled the brain of that sculpture with chickens, which crashed the game every time I opened the world, and I eventually had to say goodbye to it. Anyway, I listened to the music discs one by one by myself in the room. I was having a real good time, honestly, like chirp, hell yeah, cat, hell yeah, etc. Hell yeah. But once I got to the broken disc, 11, which I believe was one of the last ones, I heard this nightmare fuel of footsteps, heavy breathing, panic. I was kind of put off, especially by those little scary notes. But then when the coughing comes in, I was like, hell no. Except I didn't curse back then, so I was like, heck no. But then, even more, it gets to a point where the panic rises, the breathing gets heavier, the footsteps faster, and the general ambiance just seems to get more and more intense until it just stops, making the sudden lack of sound almost like a jump scare, kind of like the end of She's So Heavy by the Beatles. I swear I won't compare every song to a Beatles song. Anyway, it freaked me the f*** out, and I literally just ran away and didn't touch the world or the jukebox for a long time. For that reason, I think 11 is iconic, and I think lots of us had experiences close to that as kids, except, you know, maybe without the chicken brain game crashing thing part. So I respect this disc hella, and if it was a ranking of iconicness, this would be high. But as a song, it's not really a song, so here it goes. Next, 18, 5. 5 is very similar to 11. It was added in the Warden update, and it's sort of like 11 for Gen Alpha, I guess. I hadn't heard it until like less than a week ago, so that's how you know I don't have a nostalgia bias towards it. Because you might think, Ammon, you ain't a piss baby anymore. You don't get scared by Minecraft most of the time. Why is it higher than 11, which you have such a distinct memory of? And the reason for that, dear viewer, is lore, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, 11 is more iconic for me, but if you thought 11 was good at environmental storytelling, which it is, 5 does that like tenfold, though. You find it in the deep dark, and listening to it tells the story of how the Warden was brought there. You can hear some sort of portal opening, which you can literally see, boom, right there, right next to where you find the disc fragments, which there are 5 of, FYI, and the track is called 5. Anyway, yeah, that's just cool. Still not music, but kind of the coolest of the non-music music discs. So here it is. Next. 17. Okay, and here we are, the first music disc that's actually music. What's it gonna be, folks? The curiosity must be killing you. Its creator, Music Box version. Frankly, I just wish this wasn't in the game and that it didn't suck. It's a disappointing find for a trial just because it's freaking boring. Like, cool, you took a song and you replaced the instrument with the Music Box one and then muted all the other instruments, and that probably took you like 1 1 minute, which also happens to be the length of the song, which also happens to be this song's best feature, how short it is. Yeah, I don't care. Next. Number 16, Precipice. Unlike Creator Music Box version, Precipice is one of the longest tracks in the game, coming in at around 5 minutes, which sucks, because I don't like it. It's like these Christmas bells with super heavy drums and a so retro kind of video gamey synth. It's weird. It sounds like an off-brand Undertale boss song, except it repeats the same bell melody throughout like the entire song and has electric guitar, which just feels wrong on a music disc and in Minecraft in general. One thing I do like about the song is the high piano notes played at certain parts. The way it plays something different than the main melody but plays along and fits in is kind of cool. But I don't know, that's just not enough to save the song for me. Also, is it just me, or is this song just straight up kind of mixed bad? I don't know if it's my headphones, but I just feel like everything is lifted too high, leading to like lost information in the sound waves or whatever nerds say. I don't like this song. I'm sure some Gen Alpha kids adore it and use it in their Minecraft YouTube channel opening cinematic. But shut up, next. Number 15, Blocks. Okay, so Blocks is actually the longest music disc in the game, longer than Precipice even, coming in at nearly 6 minutes. With that in mind, here's a little challenge for you. This song has been in the game for like 15 years, so riddle me this, bitch. I won't call you, I'm sorry. So riddle me this. What is its melody? I don't know! If you can't answer that, then yeah, me neither, because the song is boring and totally doesn't deserve its length. There's some pretty cool instruments, this MIDI jazz guitar or whatever it is, I sort of like the vibe, but there's also parts of the song where the notes just literally don't match up. Like there's dissonance. I don't know if that's an attempt to be quirky, but I don't like it. I will admit it's not all bad. There are a couple sections I kind of dig. There's a cool slowdown at around 2 minutes where things turn into a slower, calmer, kind of stripped down, quirky but peaceful Christmas vibe, but that section only lasts like 10 seconds. We do get it again at like 3 minutes, and we actually get that for like a full minute before hitting my favorite part of the song actually, which is at 4 minutes. This section is actually genuinely really cool. I dig it quite a bit. I'm just not sure if it's worth waiting 4 minutes for, so I rarely pop this one in. It's like being a Pink Floyd fan and being like, don't worry, it gets so good at 10 minutes in. But you know, in Minecraft, so cool. Next. Number 14, Relic. Relic is one of those songs where on first listen, I was like, what the f is this? Even still, I think that intro sounds kind of cheesy, but this song has grown on me a lot. I like the concept of it too. You find it excavating, which is the worst feature ever because the rewards are crap, except for the music discs. But the whole idea is, oh, what an ancient relic of a song. And then it's like an 80s video game-esque chiptune. That is an interesting ramification of the Minecraft lore though, because like if a chiptune is ancient, does that mean the world of Minecraft takes place in the distant future, post the collapse of humanity perhaps? That's giving some heavy Adventure Time vibes, who knows? Anyway, this song is cool, especially when the drums are added, but it's not top tier. Next, 13, Dog. This one's kind of an obscure one, which some might not even count, but I did it for the sake of making this list an even 20 tracks. Dog is a remix of Cat that C418 made, and if you played on an Xbox 360 or any other console back in the day, this song would play directly after Cat. Dog is pretty good. If you like Cat, you'll like Dog. It's pretty much just the same song, but with a heavier emphasis on the chip-tuniness. So if you're a video game nerd who listens to Nintendo music in your free time, you might even prefer this version, which I'm not one to talk honestly. I use the out of that Nintendo music app, but for me, I think Cat will always be the best version. But this remix is cool. I especially like the woo, when the woos come in. I like the woos. Next, number 12, Far. Far starts off with these really spacey, reverby synth arpeggios? I don't know. That sound, you guessed it, Far. It doesn't take long for some Mellotron-like strings and some glockenspiels to come in, and eventually, like, some medieval lute or something, and then some bass and that classic Minecraft piano sound. It slows down a bit in the middle, and then we finally get some percussion that rises, some snare, and that beat kind of drops. Not like in a super over-the-top epic way it drops, but it's like we get this really full sound with all the instruments and bass. It sounds pretty cool. There's some of those fake voice synth things you'll hear on like a New Order song, and then a little reference to the main Minecraft theme on the piano towards the end. It's pretty cool. It is one of the more laid-back music discs, but I still think it's kind of overlooked and it's a nice vibe. So good job. Next, number 11. Here we have the non-music box version of Creator, which stands out as having a heavy, spooky Halloween sound, which is weird for a music disc that was added in April. But I think the idea was more so to sound like a steampunk vibe to fit the trial chambers, given the old-timey classical guitar and mechanical sounding percussion. It's not the most memorable track, but it does have a very specific sound that is useful to be on a music disc. Like if you're making a Halloween corn maze and want some waiting room music, this is here you go. Also, it sounds fitting of the location it's from, which is a nice touch. Around halfway through the song, things go down and we get an electric guitar, which just like in Precipice, I think is kind of weird in Minecraft, but the song is still pretty cool and a nice addition to the game. Not bad. Next, number 10, Strat. Strat is actually completely in the middle of the list, which makes sense, because I kind of always forget about its existence. Because it's not bad, but also it's not top tier. It's just a pretty nice track, led by some MIDI steel drums, and some pretty interesting percussion. There's strings for texture, and eventually some bit crush vibes. It's got a pretty whimsical melody and a vibe that is overall pretty good. Given it's right in the middle, I honestly don't have a ton to say about it. The ending section is cool though. The percussion gets louder and louder, and there is this interesting synth that sounds like, I don't know, like an electronic accordion or something. It's pretty cool. Next, before we move on, this is where I would put 11 if 11 was the non-broken version. Just a very nice emotional piano song. Moving on. Number 9, Wait. Wait, or as Minecraft veterans remember it, Where Are We Now, is just a classic. I think Wait alongside Cat are sort of the first songs people think of when they think Minecraft music disc. It opens up with a cute little CR78 sounding drum beat with little cute note hits that eventually lead to a drop of bit crushed NES sounding drums. It's got a quirky synth playing the main melody, an eventual rise of strings, and a very serene middle section that I have to say is my favorite part, which if you haven't noticed, I generally really like the slow parts of higher mid-energy songs. Having that quieter, more peaceful bridge is just cool. Also, one cool thing about Wait, took me like 15 years to realize it, but it's a remix of the main Minecraft thing, and that's just cool. Next. Number 8, Pig Step. Pig Step was added in the Nether update and was also the first music disc to be added that was not created by C418, making it naturally a somewhat controversial addition. Probably, I don't know, I actually don't pay attention to that sort of meta. So first of all, I guess we should answer the question, does it fit the vibe of Minecraft? I'll be frank, It goes a little too hard for the general vibe of music discs, honestly, but I will say this, it's very fitting for where it's found. This is found in the piglin-infested nether bastions, and it sounds like such. The main driving synth is super heavy, and even almost sounds like a piglin growl, and the whole song just has a menacing vibe, just as the bastions do. My favorite part of the song are the high piano notes played throughout, and also those Beatle-esque Mellotron parts, like what is this, Strawberry Fields Forever, but dark and twisted and up and evil. Anyway, whether you think this song belongs in Minecraft or not, you gotta admit that it's pretty cool. So yeah, next. Number 7, Ward. I seriously overlooked the song as a kid. I heard that introducing Funeral March and instantly popped it out because I would literally think that it's 13 because I was stupid. But that is totally unfair to Ward because after like 4 seconds of the Funeral March, it turns into a completely different song and one of the coolest of the chiptune-esque tracks. To me, it sounds like you're walking up to the front gates of a massive Castlevania type castle, and then as soon as the beat comes in, that's like you walking through the halls, jumping up and down to hit ghouls with your whip. Just one of the coolest and more menacing music discs in the game. I considered putting Pig Step above Ward, but that was until I remembered the last minute of Ward. After you think the track is over, this super cool descending melody comes in that is very reminiscent of a dreamy NES track, like a dream sequence or something. It makes for a beautiful finale that slowly fades out and is quite literally the complete opposite of the starting Funeral March. Very cool song that was underrated by child me because he was stupid. Next. Number 6, Cat. If you were expecting Cat to be higher, then yeah, me too, honestly. This is one of the classics, and it just goes to show that this and the next 5 tracks are all top dogs and can't really be beat. This is the song from the game that definitely brings back the most nostalgic memories because it was my sister's favorite as a kid, and she would put it in the jukebox over and over again while she was building her weird, giant-ass, dream-like lapis houses in Creative. Something about the song is very reminiscent to the very early seasons of Adventure Time, and how off-the-wall and chiptuney its music was. I dig it. You know, maybe it was her favorite just because her name is Catalina, and you know, Cat. But still, it's one of the most iconic Minecraft music discs from the moment those little chimes seem to just randomly fall over the place in the intro. Cool. Next. Number 5, Mellow High. This might be a strange starter to the top 5 because I hear Mellow High get flack all the time, but I love this one. It's not one I really paid much attention to up until high school when my little cousin mentioned how it has the vibe of like an old-timey black and white detective smoking a cigar at his desk, which I agree with. Something about the notes feel a little off and kind of creepy, which I love, but what has to be my favorite part of the song, and what easily puts it this high, is way towards the end, the bass comes in and out. Something about that just sounds really, really cool, and it's one of the most iconic music disc moments for me. Anyway, it's a pretty short song, so I don't have a ton to say about it, but it's just very cool and it's very unique. I like it. Next. Number 4. I've never known if this one's called Stall or Stall, but I think I always call it Stall, or at least most of the time. I'm getting deeper into the top 5 with an admittedly pretty controversial pick. I know lots of people who think the song has a cool jazzy intro that is completely ruined by the moment that recorder comes in. I will admit it is kind of funny and completely changes the vibe, but it's only a short section of the song and it kind of adds to its iconicness, if I'm being honest, and it kind of makes me think of The Amazing World of Gumball, which is cool too. But yeah, this song has a super cool bass and a very unique jazzy vibe that even beats Mellow High in its ability to make you feel like a monologuing 1940s detective. Back in high school, I made this game within Minecraft called Block Grinders, where you would go to various maps to fight monsters and then use the monster loot in a shop to buy better gear, and I made a secret underground shop in the game where this was the background music. Unfortunately, I have lost the map Block Grinders, aside for these pictures, but this swing and jazzy track will always make me think of it. Next, number 3, Mall. Like the past couple tracks, I think Mall is another kind of overlooked one. In fact, if I didn't rate Mellow High, Stall, Wait, Mall, and the next track so highly, I think Cat would be all the way up here at 3rd, which I think a lot more people would expect from a music disc ranking. What I've always liked about Mall, though, is the way it makes me think of, do I have to say it? Yeah, it sounds like an 80s or 90s mall, seen through a slightly eerie but nostalgic lens. Almost kind of makes me think of Liminal Spaces. I hope that's not cringe, but yeah, it makes me think of like those videos that make you nostalgic for the early 2000s and 90s. But then as you get into it, you start getting this very different, very energetic track with building drums and synths and a very cool drop of the bass with added percussion. Eventually, we get a callback to the start of the song with that liminal mall sound that then has this an epic slow rising synth that brings us back into the cooler vibe. We get one last mall core outing at the end of the song and Mall finishes up. This song is cool and I like it. Next, number 2, Other Side. Some of you may be surprised I'm putting one of the non-C418 music discs up this high, up in the frickin' top 2, and I feel as though I should clarify that unlike a lot of people, I actually really do enjoy a lot of the new Minecraft music, but that only goes for the non-music disc ambient tracks. As for the music discs themselves, I feel as though a lot of the new ones are kind of lacking or just don't fit with the feel of music discs. But Other Side is definitely a massive exception that I think easily deserves to be this high. For one, I think it's one of the new tracks that fits in with the original C418 sound the most. Not exactly the same style, but I think that's a good thing. I think if the new tracks sounded exactly like the C418s, it would just kind of like be like an off-brand, kind of a weak copy of something classic. This song hits the perfect balance for me of fitting in with the old but bringing in something new. The synth that plays throughout is uplifting and has an adventurous kind of spirit to it, and then the drums come in and the synths go up an octave and we just get a little bit of acoustic guitar, some shakers, layered synths, and just a very unique and full sound. And this is fun for a while. We get a relaxing bridge section that focuses on the second synth some more, but what really uplifts the song into something fantastic for me is a little over halfway in when everything gets cut out except for the shaker and main synth, and for the first time we start getting some minor chords that build up to this drop of darker drums and darker ambient synths that bring the track to a whole new context. Almost like the song tells a story, like the first half of the song feels like starting a Minecraft world, exploring the overworld, chopping down trees and building homes and farms, and then the ending section feels like exploring dark, mysterious caves or discovering the Underdark or Nether or something like that. And it all builds up to a finale with this Unis Honest ass ticking clock at the end. It's a perfect finale to one of the best music discs. Anyway, one more to go, so next. Number 1, Chirp. I don't think I'm alone in saying that Chirp is an absolute classic, right from that opening sample of the Bossa Nova preset of the 1970 Mattel toy keyboard. Yeah, if you didn't know, that's what that loop is from, and that's why you can also hear it used in other songs like Field of Dreamers from Little Big Planet. which is also fantastic. Anyway, we start with that sample and then some super warped little synths before the track completely changes direction and turns into a super spacey remix of Mall. As a kid, I didn't like this section as much as the classy first half, but as an adult, I can appreciate both halves of this perfect little music disc. I still do kind of prefer the bossa nova part though, but yeah, I love this one. I always do a little mental backflip in my brain whenever a creeper drops Chirp, making Chirp truly the anti-13, because when I see a creeper drop 13, I do a mental front flip, I guess, and snap my mental neck. This is the song I use in my 7-Eleven in my friend's Minecraft server, and yeah, I did build a 7-Eleven in survival Minecraft, and yes, it was very difficult, but not as difficult as the Simpsons house, which I've started and already regret. Anyway, Chirp is a classic. It has been my favorite since I was a kid, and it will likely always remain my favorite. Even when I'm 105 years old and an old grandma, it'll be my favorite. And C418, if you are listening, Adrienne from Brooklyn loves you. I love you, C418, and please just come to the window so I can... Anyway, that's my list. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. Thanks for watching. I'm glad to be back. Check out my new music. F you. Just kidding. I love you. Bye.